My Hero Academia Season 6 Episode 10 is scheduled to release on December 3rd, and in this video, I'll be discussing spoilers for this upcoming episode. Credit to the My Hero Academia wiki page for the spoilers that will be provided in this video based on the My Hero Academia manga. After Deku watches Bakugo get stabbed by Shigaraki's wires, Bakugo tells Deku not to play hero all by himself. Meanwhile, Shigaraki says to someone else to stop it as he releases Bakugo, who's quickly caught by Todoroki. Shigaraki tries to speak, but someone else, likely All For One, comments on how this fight today has shed a lot of useless blood, but Bakugo's actions he considers the most useless of all. The moment he says that, along with thinking of Eraserhead, Gran Torino, Manuel, Ryukyu, and the entire Jaku city having suffered from this fight, Deku snaps. Filled with rage, he bites down on Shigaraki's wires and angrily demands that he takes back what he said. Meanwhile, Gigantomachia continues his rampage towards Shigaraki. As he reaches Saro City, Osaka Prefecture, he picks up two of his master's scent. Down in the Jaku suburban district, the heroes are told to leave the instructions for evacuating the civilians to the rescue team and the police, and to now engage the villains to stop the enemy's advances. Some are told to reach out to the ones fighting Shigaraki to inform them of this development, since long distance communications are still down. Among those heroes, Uraraka says to herself that the situation isn't improving at all, and ever since the day they met Tomura Shigaraki, it feels like when the sun sets, the shadow stretches even further. Back with the others, Shigaraki finally touches Deku with Todoroki calling out to him in fear. Shigaraki demands Deku to give him one for all, and all of a sudden, Deku is flung into his mind. He sees Shigaraki from afar along with All For One, with Shigaraki demanding he leaves him alone. All For One says that even if Shigaraki tells him, had he not taken control, he would have been burnt to a crisp, and even if he survived that, a fall from this height would be his end. Shigaraki tells All For One to shut up and reminds him this was supposed to be his dream. Deku tries to move towards Shigaraki, but instead trips and falls. Someone puts their hand on Deku's head, saying that he still can't move in his dream, but they'll do something about it. It turns out that person is Nana Shimura. Nana Shimura said that she never expected to meet All For One again after her passing. Deku, however, recognizes her and realizes he's currently inside One For All. He's unable to think about the others before All For One directs Shigaraki's attention to Nana, who he not only confirms is his grandmother, but also dead too. All For One explains that in the past, there have been stories of people whose personalities changed after an organ transplant. Similarly, he himself experienced dreams where he conversed with the consciousness of the people whose quirks he had stolen, and how it left him with a rather odd feeling of guilt. He does reveal though that whenever he relinquished the quirk, the voice of the person would disappear. It wasn't until meeting Kyudai Garaki that he realized the cause of this bizarre occasion. Just like how organs and cells contain the memories of their owners, quirks contain the consciousness of their user's own individuality essentially. All For One admits he thought he was the only one capable of such a feat, as Shigaraki identifies Nana from his memories. He also explains that his younger brother, when his original quirk merged with the power stalking one, attained the ability to carry consciousness himself. All For One asks Nana if she wants to say hello, and Nana identifies Tomura Shigaraki as Kotaro's son. Shigaraki, however, tells her that no matter how they ended up in this situation, he despises her for his father's actions. One For All starts to crumble, which All For One confirms is due to Shigaraki's rage overwhelming the rule of the wielder of One For All's will. He also notices Shigaraki trying to destroy himself as well, which nonetheless thrills him because it suits him as the symbol of chaos. The decaying stops as All For One realizes his rage is not enough, as his younger brother, who appeared as well and stopped the decaying, is said to be just as stubborn as himself. All For One's younger brother asks if Shigaraki is the next in line of the various people he's manipulated, as All For One confessed he wished he made his brother his. In response, the younger brother declares that he and the others will never go to him because they've chosen to remain with Deku. As he starts pushing back, All For One tries combining his power with Shigaraki to fight back. He asks his younger brother that he's seen everything from Shigaraki's eyes and claims that the power is wasted on Deku, claiming he could neither protect friend or teacher, and it being the other way around, he gave himself over to rage and now he can't even move, just squirm and helplessly watch. He declares that transferring this power to someone like Deku was a great mistake on his part. The younger brother denies this, claiming a man who does nothing but manipulate would never understand the driving force behind Deku. The rage he feels is because of others, and he does his best until he can't anymore. He declares Deku to be a boy possessed by the desire to save others beyond common understanding, and they'll follow him because of it. In a grand explosion, both Deku and Shigaraki fall away from one another in the sky. Deku realizes Shigaraki failed to steal One for All, as All for One tells Shigaraki that the reason why was because his body hasn't fully adapted to his new quirk. He tells him that his body needs to reach perfection and to retreat, while Deku pleads with Shigaraki to stop moving. Gigantomachia continues rampaging to Shigaraki's location as Dabi learns about Shigaraki fighting Endeavor. He tells Skeptic to prepare himself because they're about to tear down this fake hero society. Mr. Compress notices Himiko Toga looking over the edge of the giant and guesses she's looking for Deku and Uraraka because she loves them. Toga asks Mr. Compress where do heroes draw the line, because if heroes are supposed to save people, was Twice not a person in Hawk's eyes? She reveals that she wants to ask Deku and Uraraka if they'll kill her, and depending on the answer, she'll be fine. Mr. Compress then spots something and tells Skeptic to zoom in. It turns out to be Uraraka and Asui moving through the city, and when Toga sees them too, she runs over to Mr. Compress to give her gear, which he does. After she puts her gear on, she prepares to confront them, which causes Mr. Compress to try to stop her, saying it's too dangerous. Toga reminds him that she wants answers to her stifling feelings. Mr. Compress continues to dissuade her and even asks Dabi for help, but he dismisses it and instead tells Skeptic to ready himself, which irritates him. Spinner finally speaks up and tells Toga that he believes himself and the others to be nothing and that they're strays that just happen to find one another, so she isn't the only one upset about Twice's death. He reminds her that their group was what Twice considered a family, and Shigaraki would probably like to see them all together. He says that their brand as the Paranormal Liberation Front is to let folks do as they want, but she should come back to them quickly. Toga smiles at him in gratitude. Down on the ground, Uraraka reports that she sees Gigantomachia and she wants the evacuation process to be accelerated. She meets with Asui, who was helping several people out of a building, as she saves her from getting crushed by a piece of debris. Suddenly, an old woman yells out to them, saying that her husband is still sleeping and he can't move on his own fast enough. Seeing Gigantomachia approach quickly, Uraraka tells Asui to get the civilians in her position to safety while she helps the old woman. She leads Uraraka to an alleyway calling her husband's name. Uraraka comments on how fast she's running and she says it's because of her love for him. Uraraka tells the elder that she will save him, but when she catches up to her, she's left shocked to learn that it's Himiko Toga who was in disguise. Toga slips into a house with Uraraka following. After she steps foot inside, Toga, who was hiding, says she had hoped to talk with Asui since she considers her a friend, as well as Deku since she loves it when he's injured. She says to Uraraka that she likes her too and asks her what she wants to do with her as she jumps on her with her knife and pins her down with Uraraka holding her back. Uraraka asks Toga if she seriously went through all that trouble just to ask her that question, as well as if she stole blood from the woman she was disguised as earlier and if she killed her or not. Toga is caught a little off guard by Uraraka asking about her question, as Uraraka tells her that she wants to save as many people as she can, and if she gets in her way, she'll stop her on the spot. Toga then merely glares at her in response. So those are the spoilers for My Hero Academia Season 6 Episode 10, which once again is scheduled to release on December 3rd. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.